All right, it's Thursday, and that means it's Jungle Drums time. Right, so I mean, the last few weeks, Jungle Drums has ended up being quite tech heavy. You know, not on purpose by any means, and you know, I do love talking about tech. You know, that hence why I'm actually at school. You know, going, you know, pursuing a degree in IT. You know, there's a reason for that. I do enjoy tech, that is for sure. But today there's too much stuff going on in the world of gaming that I think we're going to talk solely about games today. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon. Some things are quite exciting, some things are a bit not quite sure about. We are waiting on Sergeant J to get in. He was working a bit late tonight, so he'll probably be about another 10 minutes. So it's just me and Gimboid for now. How are you this evening, good sir?
About it, really. Not much to say about that. Say about the games, though.
Oh, yes, plenty to say. Right, well, there's some topics that, you know, hopefully we'll get Jay's input when he gets in. So I think I want to kick off talking about the Division, right? And the Division is, in itself, is quite controversial. It was a game that was hyped up quite a lot. You know, there was a lot of the Destiny fan base. You know, diehard Destiny fans were really excited for the Division. I mean, if you go back far enough and look at some of that early E3 footage of the game, it looked absolutely amazing. The graphics were stunning. You know, the gameplay looked ridiculous. And even the story, it just seemed like, you know, quite interesting, quite gritty, quite realistic. You know, what we got was decent. But let's be honest, at launch, there was issues. And there's continued to be issues.
One way of putting it.
Yeah, it's one way of putting it. What was nice, at least they had a good roadmap for that first year, which they didn't quite hit. They did end up, yes, within the first year, they got everything released that they planned on releasing. So you got to give them credit for that. But their timescales did kind of get bumped a little bit, and that was because of some of the issues with the gameplay. And, you know, you got to give massive credit for saying they got to that point where they pushed back Last Stand just so they could actually kind of rework the mechanics of the game and whatnot. But anyway, this week, massive, you know, the makers of the Division, they celebrated their 1 year anniversary. You know, so basically they had a live stream just the other day there, and they were talking about how year one had been, you know, the ups, the downs. They kind of went into how their journey had went, you know, over that year. And, you know, to be fair, I think it was a decent year. Yeah, it was a rocky road, but you know what? Hey, the Division, it came out, they brought us the Underground, they brought us Survival, and they brought us the Last Stand expansions, each of which kind of brought something different to the table, which is quite cool. I mean, Underground, when that first came out, the concept of these procedural generated, you know, encounters and the way the map was modular, I mean, that was just really cool. You know, I thought that was a really cool addition to the game. And hell, I grinded the shit out of that. Survival was another really cool expansion. I mean, that was pretty neat, a totally different game style. And even the Last Stand, I mean, you know me, I'm no big PvPer, but Last Stand is really quite cool. And then, of course, the Incursions. I mean, if we're honest, I think the Incursions is what really kind of drew us to the Division. You know, as far as our fire team goes, I would say. But yeah, they were. So anyway, the first year, you know, they were talking about, you know, all the stuff, how it went. But what they were talking about, and unfortunately, they didn't go into specifics, but they started talking about year two. But I suppose before we get into year two, we should talk about what they're doing. It just started today, their 1 year anniversary celebration, right? So what they're doing is everyone gets a free emote. If you log in anytime from today all the way through to March 16th, you'll get the celebration emote, which basically you can equip it and, you know, your guy kind of goes, whee, puts an arm up in the air. What they're doing from the 9th to the 11th is if you do your high value targets, you're getting double rewards. That means, you know, whatever amount of Phoenix credits it would have normally given, however many loot drops it would have normally given, they're giving you double. So if there's gear sets that you're still trying to get, now's the perfect time. Today, tomorrow, and Saturday, log in, do your daily HVTs, and then if you're clever, if you haven't done your weeklies, you've got, just under 2 hours to get them all done, because then they'll reset tomorrow. So they're doing that. Also, the field proficiency caches, this is going from the 11th all the way to the 16th. You're getting double the amount of loot from those as well. So if whatever you're doing, you know, just killing things and getting XP, you're going to be getting double loot from those as well. And if you log in anytime between the 9th and the 16th, you get 200 free premium credits, which, what will that get you, Gim? Maybe a skin?
A skin with sort of like hardly anything left over.
Yeah, it's not much, but hey, it's free, right? So, you know, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Speaking of credits, I finally got mine today.
Oh yeah. About time.
About time.
There's also the 170 from Club as well.
That is true. Yeah, if you don't miss that either, you can go to Ubisoft Club and get more premium credits that way. But yeah, so the anniversary's cool. You know, it's pretty neat. You know, a nice way to kind of celebrate their 1 year. But they started talking about year 2 and their plans. And so kind of what they were saying, you know, they basically said, at this point in time, what they see happen in year 2 is 2 major expansions. And now, these expansions are going to be free, which I suppose with the introduction of the microtransactions kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, you know, what I'm curious is, do you think it's possible, if they don't actually make as much as they hoped from the microtransactions, that might change?
Well, yeah, that almost certainly be the case. I mean, Destiny did imply that their stuff was going to be free after they brought in the other verse, and then just went, oh no, we only ever meant the events.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Didn't seem that way, but...
I know. I mean, the way it was sold to us for Destiny was that, yeah, that was it. Microtransactions, everything will be free after this, but hello, Rise of Iron. I remember we paid for you.
Yeah, 20 quid expansion.
Alright. But yeah, it's interesting. They're saying that they really didn't give away much. They were saying that, look, they're hoping that the first content update will be in the summer. So that's, you know, depending on what you define as summer, it's probably about 4 months away. And they said it wasn't going to be things like raising the level cap or even expanding the map. They were talking more about, you know, content that's going to put a twist on how you play the game. Their goal being to reignite, you know, the players' engagement with content. So they've talked about things like seasonal events. You know, probably anyone that's played Destiny, similar to that type of thing, maybe, where, you know, they've got some kind of spring thing going on, or this, that, and this. I don't know. I mean, they didn't give details, but it looked quite interesting for year 2. That hopefully we'll get some neat stuff. Other big things that are coming, loadouts, which the Division community has been asking for ages. That is coming, and probably coming relatively soon-ish. So that's good, you know, because if you've got multiple gear sets, it's a pain in the ass, you know, trying to organize them and trying to remember, oh, wait a minute, was I using 4-piece reclaimers and 2-piece? Yes, I was using 4-piece reclaimers, 2-piece tacticians. Oh, but shit, which 2 pieces? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, and you're trying to, it's... So with loadouts, that'll just make that whole process that much easier.
Should have released the gear sets, to be fair.
You know, I mean, let's be honest. Look at the cosmetics on launch. You know, now cosmetics don't take up any space, but when they did, it was ridiculous. I mean, you had to make alternate characters just to hold on to all your cosmetic shit. But I think that's why I like Massive, because every week, I mean, actually on most days, you know, they do broadcasts, they do streams where it's someone from the community team or from the dev team streaming, and they'll talk about stuff. They take comments on board, things like vault space. I mean, how long did it take Destiny to give us more vault space? Whereas, you know, the Division was actually fairly quick in the grand scheme of things about getting that community request into the game. But no, so year 2's looking good. Again, we don't have the details, but it's enough for me to get interested, for me to just go, okay, look, this is nice to know, because if you look at the Steam numbers for the Division, it really, at launch, it was probably one of the most successful games at launch, if I remember correctly, when it came out March 8th last year. It had a huge amount of pre-orders, a huge amount of people playing it on launch on all platforms. But now you fast forward and the community is definitely diminished. But there's things that are kind of reinvigorating that. The the PS4 Pro, yes, it looks better, but what were you saying about it, Gim? About the Division in 4K on the PS4 Pro?
Yeah, if you want to play it at unstable 20-ish frames per second, that is your option.
So yeah, they're just, it's not perfect. Another thing that they were going to be adding to the Division, which they had a placeholder name for it at the moment, was going to be Feats. And so Feats was going to be, basically a way to, like, in-game achievements that would maybe... They'll end up rewarding you for different activities. So like long-term activities, short-term activities, all this type of stuff within the game. But they weren't very clear on what it was going to reward you. One of the devs kind of commented about possibly like unique patches or something, or maybe cosmetic items. They'd also mentioned, even so we have cosmetic items, they were talking about adding in a vanity slot, but they didn't give us details on what that would be. I think it was it Hamish Bode, I think, who had mentioned, something cool like a face mask or something. And I think one of the devs said, yeah, maybe. They just didn't have any kind of firm details on what would actually, the vanity slot was going to be. So, who knows? I see Sergeant J has joined us.
He has. He's yet to speak.
He's probably just in and he's getting his stuff together and whatnot, so that's fine.
Or he's done his typical thing and not actually unmuted.
No, I'm here. We're going to wait for Jungle to finish his spiel before I said anything.
Yeah, we just figured, because we weren't sure what time, so that's why I started off with the Division stuff. Because I know that all the other things were probably where you'd have the most to say about. What's your take on year 2 of the Division?
I haven't had a proper look at it yet, to be honest with you. I need to.
They didn't really give away much specifics, Jay, to be honest. But the stuff that's happening right now, the 1 year anniversary, is definitely worth logging in. I logged in today, and I had about 19 Phoenix credits because I just spent a whole shit ton the other day. And I did all of the daily HVTs.
Yep.
And I now have 548.
Yeah,
and I had a shit ton of gear as well. Like right now, the next few days, in fact, like today, tomorrow, Saturday, would have been like the perfect time for Warfares to actually get on and gear grind. You'd probably have all the sets by Saturday.
Yeah.
Most likely. But there's a lot of stuff. We already covered it, but as you may have seen, you get your premium credits, you've got a free celebration emote, and you get the all your field proficiency caches are giving you double rewards.
Neat, Nick.
So it's quite neat. If I just switch over.
Yeah, I'm going to
the little blurb there.
Get on in that case.
Yes. But yeah, so Division year 2. Hopefully it'll be good. Not much details, but we shall see. We'll see how it all turns out. Gim, why don't you kick us off with the next game, upcoming game that we're hyped up about?
Because we saw a trailer and our jaws hit the floor collectively, didn't it? It's just what we're discussing.
Oh yes,
The
indeed,
one,
sir.
the only Middle-earth Shadow of War. Just, I want it so bad. I need it.
It looks so damn good.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
It's
this is the thing. I mean, Shadow of Mordor, the original one. I mean, I love that game. It's just, I just realized, Jay, I was looking and I didn't realize I never uninstalled it. It's actually still on the Xbox. It's been sitting there since the day I got the Xbox. But such a good game. It just, had so many. The graphics were brilliant. The gameplay, the combat was sweet. Anyone who's into the Lord of the Rings, the lore was just top-notch, fantastic, and actually accepted as canon from, what we can gather.
yes, they Tolkien, basically. But yeah, it fits in so well. It's clear that the writers and developers love the source material. It's well made, and it just. And this trailer just shows the second game just building on that. It's like, oh, you liked all this stuff, we'll put more of it in there for you then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
You
how
like the
much
Nemesis system? Let's do that with
Yeah.
armies and fortresses.
how much they've improved that and what they've done to it. It's amazing.
I mean, that's the thing, guys. What are the kind of the key things? What's if I'm a Shadow of Mordor fan, I'm like, okay, that's cool and stuff, but okay, what's the point of me picking up Shadow War? I mean, okay, yeah, I know it's going to be cool, I know it's going to be great, but what are they adding? What's going to be the new stuff that's going to kind of surprise, a Shadow of Mordor player?
Well, there seems to be something for most people. Depends what you liked out the game, really. The Nemesis system seems to have just been expanded, and instead of pitching like captain against captain and war boss against war boss, it's armies and overlords and sieging fortresses. And
It's just gonna
like the power trip you got from riding a Graug in the.
oh yeah, you never forget
Well-
your first Graug ride.
You might do when you get your first dragon ride.
Yeah, fair point.
Go there's a Drake. Jump on it. There you go. You can breathe fire on everyone now.
I think looking at the Nemesis system as well, looking at the fact that you can get betrayed by what you see as your allies, and the fact that
Yes, that was
it's brought in
intriguing.
and obviously the fact you can become better friends with them as well, and all that has to offer. And just looking at the trailer, and the fact that you've got one guy who saves your ass and get absolutely handed to you is quite cool.
Yeah, the fact you can sort of foster loyalty, and if you don't, they will end up betraying you and joining Sauron's forces again. And
I think a big change, or a big add-on from what I could tell, was the fact that they're introducing almost more RPG elements to it in terms of the armor. And yeah,
That's
essentially.
good, because it was quite light in that regard. I mean, okay, yes, you could do the runes and whatnot and unlock talents, right? I mean, there was certain, you could upgrade your abilities and whatnot. But yeah, it was quite light in that regard. So that's nice to hear if they're going to be up in that.
all the customizations will actually change how Talion looks as well.
Okay.
You've got some Rohirrim armor. He's wearing Rohirrim armor.
Here's what it looks like. It will be.
Stylized in the Rohirrim style with the sort of Celtic style scroll work and stuff on it. And
That's what's quite nice about it as well. Instead of just this stuff which changes your stats, it is going to have a visible look on you. So you always can again tailor your characters to look a certain way if you wanted to.
I suppose the other thing too, like you're saying about this Nemesis system, how it's not just applying to the actual kind of warlords, but it's affecting the entire region. So if you've got whatever, some kind of flippin' wizard type or a necromancer ends up wiping out an Uruk-hai warlord, then that region that previously would have been probably a mixture of Urukai and goblins and shit is now going to be just riddled with undead. I like the idea of that, this concept of the world actually changing. Even so, the old Nemesis did make things change, but not to this level that it looks like the new game will.
I also want to see more of what sort of online features there are. Like, I don't want straight up co-op in it. The revenge system of where a captain will be exporting someone else's game because they killed you, and someone else could kill them, and then you both get benefits out of it.
That could be it. What about, and here's just an idea spitballing, like you say, you couldn't really do co-op because, well, it just makes no sense, right? I mean, you can't have, unless you were a completely different character. But what if you like link with your buddies, so what you do in your world actually affects their world or something? Would that maybe be a possibility or something?
Well, if I remember when we were watching the trailer yesterday, Jay mentioned something about possibly sending some of your warlords into siege a friend's castle and take it over and have a sort of PvP aspect to it rather than just
okay.
That was Nathan mentioned that, wasn't it?
Kind of like what Dark Souls invading your world type of thing or something.
Yes, but instead of directly doing it, you send in your warlords. And you wouldn't have a direct input in it yourself, but you'd say you pick yourself like a few warlords, they take an army over. They could either defend from a siege if they're online at the time, or just have to retake it.
That's the thing with the fact that keeps now, there is that scope for that. But I don't know if they want to focus mainly on what they are doing with it, with the storyline and what they've got already.
I just wonder too what the because I think as much as I loved that game, if I'm brutally honest, I personally found the world quite small. I mean, okay, yes, I know we're just in Mordor, but the two regions, I wanted more. Hopefully that's something that the
Well, they have said they want it to be a larger game. I don't know if that just means in terms of actual time taken to complete it, or if that's actually map size.
Well, I believe the map size will most likely be if you're dealing with like army level sort of combat in the game. A lot of the time, you would need a generally larger map, otherwise it would just feel far too cramped. And there's most likely going to be a larger map as well.
Hopefully,
I mean, they're varied more, but like in Shadow of Mordor, there's a whole region around Mount Doom. Don't go near that. You're like one coast of the Sea of Nirn in the Nirn area. There's a lot more of Mordor to that. And Mordor, a lot of people seem to think Mordor's like completely boxed in by the mountains, but it's just on the two sides near Gondor. Yeah. It actually sort of is open at the back, really.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of, there's like you say, there's a lot more to it. I suppose it's just in the actual books and whatnot. There was no need to explore all that because they were just trying to get the fucking.
There's a lot more door to it.
Yeah. Wow, nice.
Good
sort of on the pun. Had to take that one.
Quite right. No, it's just, it was such a good game, the original one with the Nemesis system, and it made it unique. It made that all of us who've played it, our journeys, yes, the storyline was the same, but the actual warlords we dealt with and what we did, would all have been different. And I've been honestly so surprised that the Nemesis system hasn't been, contracted out, or sold to folk, or people can pay a license to. Because I think there's so many other games that could just take advantage of a system like that. It'd be, it would add such a dynamic.
I think because it's technically a game mechanic, the laws around copyright and game mechanics are even more convoluted than standard copyright. So I'm not sure if they can license it out or if they don't just use it. But there's the
because surely that
over other things, it's just
surely that's got to be built into the engine. And so I'm just wondering, if that system is built into the engine, then maybe that's why we haven't seen it anywhere else. Because let's be honest, for that engine, you'd have to have a similar type of a game, or an over-the-shoulder third-person something, I guess.
Just trying to think what other games would be good for the Nemesis system. It could work in something similar to it with like a racing game, maybe.
Yeah.
Shooters it would work in.
Well, I think a game's like, well, maybe not like The Division, but like with stuff like very briefly, just like with Wildlands, how they've got like bosses you try to overthrow. Well, if there was ways to, depend on what order you did, affected the rest of the game.
Wildlands could have benefited from that.
You know what I mean? That could have been interesting. Oh well.
It's a thought.
We'll see.
I was just trying to think how drastically different a game you could go with it, though.
True. Yeah.
I like the idea of it in a racing game. Like, you consistently lose to this AI driver, he improves, and maybe his car gets tuned up, and gets upgrades, or
it becomes like your rival and
Yeah.
changes the way the storyline of the game. I think that would be like, for me, I think that's how the Nemesis system could probably get up to a higher level if it actually was changing the story as well, which, I mean, I know wouldn't be an easy task, but that'd
Not on something as narratively driven as...
Yeah.
I think, something like that with something that's narratively driven, I think you just get to the point where it becomes there's X amount of story changes.
Yeah. It'd be impossible to code. Well, it wouldn't be impossible, but you'd...
story changes, you see what happens at the end.
Yeah, you'd end up having like a game... If you wanted like a game that had the same amount of playtime as like Shadow of Mordor, but with this huge amount of possible story arcs, you'd end up with a game that's like 2 terabytes or something.
Yeah.
Just,
Or it would end up the same way as Mass Effect 3 did, where all the stories come to a point and it's pick your colour of ending sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly as well with the taking of the keeps. I'm quite intrigued how you do it in a stealthy sort of way, and how that would end up working out.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were saying, weren't they, about how obviously you dive to storm it, you could take it stealthily, or from what they were saying now. But I'd be quite interested how that would work out. I wonder if it'd be a thing of if you could somehow almost, I don't know if you would be able to join forces with them or somehow and take them out from within, or if there'd be like little entrance ways you could find your way into to be able to find these big warlords and things like that.
That could be interesting. Well, I think we can all agree that we cannot wait. I mean, it's one of those ones that, I would almost just pre-order it right now, which I know you can. You can already pre-order it.
Oh, yeah.
But
you could pre-order it before they did the gameplay reveal.
Yeah.
When they revealed the reveal, there's you can pre-order this now.
I think I'll wait a little while. We'll see. Maybe we can get some kind of offer
Also, like
on
how
it.
the reveal of the gameplay reveal appears after the leak.
Yes, the timing of that was a bit
this is
suspicious.
thing, and it's like, throw it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to make me pick up Shadow of Mordor for a little bit again anyway. Like, I've got it on PC, but if you guys are going to start playing it again, I'll probably get it for the Xbox just so I can take more advantage of the system.
The revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well. Shadow of War, that's, was it August 22nd?
22nd, I believe.
Oh, well.
Plenty of time. You have time to see more reveals on it and see what else they can do with it.
Right, next on the agenda is something that actually, I think it's fair to say that, Jay, you're probably the most excited about out of our crew of gamers that play Destiny. And so what happened this week, anyone who's into Destiny, which, let's be honest, there's probably quite a few folk out there that watched it because the stream that was on Twitch had over 100,000 people in there. It's always the same. Bungie does a stream and they just break the internet. But what they were talking about this week was the Age of Triumph, which, was like, okay, cool, yeah, well, Age of Triumph, blah 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 blah, and we're gonna, there was a lot of speculation about it, what it was gonna be. Oh, they're gonna re-release Vault of Glass. Oh, it's gonna be cool. Da 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 da. And I don't want to give this too much of my take on it. I'll leave that for a bit later, because I think we'll have Jay's take first. But basically, what they have said was that, okay, all of the old activities, the old raids, are going to be re-released at light level 390, which means, you need to be 390 really to go into it. The rewards themselves are all going to be 400, so, that means you're going to get your Fatebringer back, maybe, if you can get it to drop. Vex Mythoclast, Necrochasm, which I still never saw fucking Crux of Crota, ever.
It wasn't a great gun. They made it better, but it still wasn't great.
So they're doing all of these things, and they're introducing, an Age of Triumph book, right? So if you've done the other kind of Moments of Triumph, you know what these books are like. But the Age of Triumph one is 13 pages, and it's got so much crap in there. Things that, if you've played before the Dark Below, if you've played on day one, they've got Crucible stuff, they've got Raid stuff, they've got all the quest line stuff for different classes. I mean, they've got so many things. And you can see that the goal of the book is really to reward the 1%. Like the folk that have really been there religiously since day one. Because anyone that bought it after December of the year it came out, you won't be able to finish that book. If you've switched, and this is something that blows my mind, guys, looking on the internet, the amount of folk that started on one platform, like Xbox, and then switched over to PlayStation. It's really quite weird, and vice versa. There's been a lot of that going on. But anyway, those people, they're screwed. They won't be able to get all the things. But anyway, all these things will give you emblems, and then the same thing, if you fully complete the book, you get a code, and you'll be able to buy an Age of Triumph t-shirt, which, if I'm honest, the t-shirt didn't look that amazing compared to the other Moments of Triumph ones. But anyway, so it's cool. Wow, they're releasing all this stuff. The way they were saying on the stream, they were talking about how it's a celebration, how they want to go out with a bang. This kind of make your last chapter of Destiny to be, just really, really nice, really nostalgic. And even then, I find this concept of nostalgia just funny. In the grand scheme of things, the game hasn't actually been out that long. When I think of nostalgia, I think of, talking numerous years, not just, But anyway, I'm getting more in the negative there. But they've done all this stuff, but there's still a lot of information we don't have. The key bone of contention for me is, okay, does this stuff carry over to Destiny 2? And that's... it just kind of leaves me a bit I don't know. I know all these activities were fun. They were brilliant. But guess what? I did Vault of Glass on hard numerous times. And now I'm going to have to do it again just to get that thing to pop in the book. It's not rewarding me for being an old school player. If anything, it's, kind of saying, well, we know you were here from the beginning, but guess what? Do it all over again. I don't know. Anyway, I'll pass it on to you, Jay. What? Because you're quite hyped about it.
I think the first thing to say about the book is, in terms of the actual overall reward, which is the t-shirt, you don't have to technically fully complete the book to get that.
Do you not? Okay.
No, they've said that it's X amount will add up to it. You don't have to get everything in the book, because there's, for example, you've got like the collector's page, which for people that haven't been collecting, very likely for them to complete that is very, very low. Mm-hmm. Especially when you look at things like, I've been on the Reddit quite a few. I usually go on the Reddit daily, just keep an eye on things. I haven't gone on when this has happened, but you'll have ships that have been sold by Amanda that haven't been sold for like 2 or 3 months, and then they're saying like, this ship's being sold, and everyone's like, oh crap, I need to go buy this. And as a result, something like that for a collector's page, although again, you look at the collector's page, it's 75 ships. There's more than that in the game.
Yeah.
Again, coming back to what you said about the Vault Glass thing as well, with the, you've done it on hard mode, you have to go back in now, and it's almost not rewarding old school players. I don't know if in the book it actually stated the fact that you had to complete it on hard. I think they don't know if they're going to do it as a challenging mode thing, but you
It
have
just
special
said-
unique things in there.
It said that you had to do Vault of Glass, the light level 390 Vault of Glass. So
Well,
all the raids were
say
in
that, I
there,
think
but at the
challenges
new
was
night
to it.
level. I don't think they
did
had.
say they're adding new stuff to it.
Yeah, and they've got
yeah.
challenges. They also said they were going to rejig some of the mechanics,
Yep.
and stuff. So, yeah, sorry.
I'm going to start from the raiding point aside anyway, because I think that's one of the best activities in Destiny, personally. I love my
Yeah.
PvP, don't get me wrong, but the raiding is, for me, what does it. And the thing I want to highlight, which I think is fantastic, is this weekly raid that they've got now, where it will have all the challenge modes unlocked, and you'll get special rewards for it, which is for the new armor sets. I believe they're bringing out ornaments that go on these.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's great, not only because it gives you obviously this week to do it, but all the challenge modes are active because, as they said, obviously when you've had new raids released, it's only been that raid out. So obviously they've been able to rotate through those challenge modes, whereas they can't do something like that now with all these raids coming out. So it'll be quite interesting to see what the fog changes are, especially considering they said Atheon challenge mode is supposed to be rock solid, which is quite good for me to hear.
Yeah, I'd seen that.
I think there's no,
That was Datto and Cosmo were talking about it on Twitter. Where yeah, Datto had said something along the lines of, "Oh, so I hear that Atheon's supposed to be like." The rumor is that the Atheon challenge mode is actually going to be what Datto had said way back. Like when, because you know how he does like a lot of kind of gameplay things, a lot of challenge things and stuff like
Yeah.
solo and stuff, and he had an idea for Atheon back in like October of when Destiny had just came out, and so there's this internet rumor going about. Folk are saying, "Look, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be what Datto said."
Which was that? I can't remember
And
what that
I
is.
can't even. I can't remember what he said specifically. I know, but
That's going back away.
but allegedly that's what it could be coming. So I don't know.
But also the raiding as well, which is quite interesting, is what they said about King's Fall and how there will be surprises in there. And obviously, a big thing here, which I'm quite interested in, was the fact that they said, for example, raids that didn't have sparrows might have sparrows, raids that didn't have ghosts might have ghosts. So I know again where this problem comes in. Obviously, if this stuff isn't carrying over, what's the point? But for me, it'd be quite nice to see what they've done anyway for the sparrows and things like that. But I'm more interested in actually just going back in and doing the old raids, seeing what they've changed, what they've improved. My headset's going to die soon. Almost be interesting to see if they've actually got a reason as to why this stuff has happened. Like, for example, obviously with Crota, they've almost already set it up with the return of Omnigul, considering that there's a reason why her main thing was to obviously usher in
And his
Return
headset's
of
died.
Crota. So
Oh,
no, it
no.
hasn't died. This since I took it off to put the plug in. From that side, I think I feel it'd be good fun. For me, I enjoyed the rain. I want to go back and do it. Even though this stuff may not carry over, I will probably still go back and do it. How much I do of that book may depend, though, if it does carry over. Because as much as I want to be the completionist and I want to get it done, if I know that effort's going to be almost for naught, especially if I've got so many other games I want to play and to play, it might affect my choices on that book.
See, and that's kind of my, and I know that it sounds like I'm being overly negative, but the thing for me is that, yeah, I mean, come on, we all did this stuff together. We absolutely loved raid night. We loved doing the raids. And part of me just feels that, well, you know what? Wait a minute, I paid my dues. We did all this stuff. We were there actually figuring shit out. Trying to figure out mechanics and do things, and those accomplishments meant so much. And for me, it just feels like this concept that Bungie's had. We want Destiny to go out with a bang. We want to salute you and do all this cool stuff. It's the word they used was the phrasing was one last victory lap, and it's like, but wait a minute, I've already done this stuff. I know you're changing things. I know you're re-releasing it, but it's yet again just Bungie recycling content. They're masters at this, where there's been very few new things they've brought to the table, and they just end up reskinning, rehashing, and maybe this is the wrong opinion, but it just feels like they're just sticking two fingers up to me, saying, well, yeah, we know you've wanted more, we know you want this, but nah, we're giving you this. I mean, even like when you've got folk asking over and over and over, about, well, what about vault space? You're giving us all this stuff, but are you going to give us more vault space? And they would never acknowledge it, they would never talk about it. You've mentioned with the carrying over, and I think that is the stickler for me, is that, again, I love Destiny. Was a fun game, I really enjoy it, but if over the next few months, because it's going to be the end of March when this stuff releases, if that's going to carry over, okay, yes, that's worth my time, because then I will stand apart in Destiny 2. I'll have cool emblems, I'll have whatever carries over, and people will be able to look and go, oh, well, hey, look, he's a day one player because he has whatever emblem. Whereas on the other hand, if there isn't shit like that, well, I'd rather use my game time, because obviously we're all in the same boat. We have other things in life, whether it's friends, family, sleeping, bathing, eating, so our game time's limited. And, instead of doing rehashed content that in the long term doesn't actually mean anything, you know what, well, why don't I play like the Division, the Year 2 stuff that's coming? Why don't I play Wildlands? Why don't I continue leveling up in Siege and trying to get into ranked, or even things like Elder Scrolls, I can level up, and there's other games that aren't going away just yet. Whereas they have, they've said with Destiny's not going anywhere. Destiny 1, they're not going to stop supporting it. But at the same time, they've said, this is it. And they kept making these things about how, what was the wording they used with like the emblems and stuff? How, these rewards, will look great in Destiny 1. I don't know, that's a stickler for me. It makes me think of WoW. If vanilla WoW had all the stuff, all the raiding, and then they came out with a big event prior to the Burning Crusade, right? Where there was all this stuff, and you ended up going back to Molten Core or whatever, doing stuff. But then said, yeah, but guess what? The Burning Crusade, none of your shit carries over, and you're actually, the only thing that's going to carry over is the way that your tune looks. I would have just been like, what? No, piss off. And so, it just...
I think for a lot of people, you say that is a big problem. Although it does make me laugh a little bit, because obviously we're sitting here, well, you more so, with deflating the fact of what they're doing. You're still going to buy Destiny 2. I know I am, but it doesn't always help the situation when you look at it. But there is one thing they have said though, or I can't remember if they said it or I read it somewhere. They're talking about how they would reward veteran players with something in Destiny 2. Now, how they're going to go about doing something like that, if they do something like that, will depend. Because if it's just some, oh yeah, these people play Destiny 1, give all the same reward.
A shader and an emblem.
But if they were to go almost look at your raids of triumphs and go, right, this person's done X, Y, and Z on their books, we'll give them a emblem based on that. Again, then yeah, that'd be good. I think for a lot of people, and for a lot, as I said, again for you, me, Joe, potentially Nathan if he ever goes back, it's looking at if that stuff does carry over for you, if you're going to get it. If this going to be able to say, you can show people, like you look at, for example, when WoW were out titles, and then you had, like, I saw loads of people from, like, people with, like, for example, the I think it was the Insanity title from doing Yogg-Saron no keepers. If people got told they were going to lose that, yeah, again, they'd be outraged, because I only saw a handful of people with that back when it was first out.
Exactly.
I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god. And that's the key thing, is stuff like that is gear. Yeah, we're used to gear resets. That's not an issue. That's absolutely fine. I realize my weapons are going to be obsolete and my armor's going to be obsolete. But when you get into those things, those little things that set folk apart, like titles and WoW, or in Destiny, it's emblems and shaders.
Ships and sparrows.
No,
Yeah.
ships and sparrows I can almost push to the side and not be too fussed about that, because although it'd be like a mountain WoW, I can almost go, that's
I
fine,
wasn't wow,
that's fine.
I want my
But,
sparrows.
yeah, emblems definitely, because that's what you see most of the time with people is emblems. Is you'll be looking through on your leaderboard or your tower or whatever the new thing will be in Destiny 2 lobby, and you go, oh, that guy's got amount of people. I've gone, oh, that's got an emblem I've never seen before. Gone and looked, and I'm like, don't have a clue what that is. Looked online and been like, oh, I've missed the chance to get that one. Or, oh crap, I've got to buy this and this and that. So yeah, it'll be obviously Bungie could change their mind. I don't know if they will. Unlikely, to be honest. But I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with Destiny 2 though. On a complete side note, obviously with things like if they do still have the vault, which I expect they will, if they have shown they're going to listen to the community, things like vault space, and because as you say, it's been brought up so many times, especially now with these revamped stuff coming out. You're thinking like all this storage space. I'm kind of hoping in the lead up to whilst doing all this stuff, they're going to sneakily throw in the fact they're going to give us increased vault space. But we'll see.
It's just, I mean, again, just to quote, this is a direct quote from Bungie. Destiny 1 isn't going away. The game will remain online for the foreseeable future. And then out of quote, which should please fans looking forward to the sequel, who also want to continue playing the original. As previously reported, when the new game drops, it will feature new loot, powers, possessions, Eververse-related items and currency. This means what players earned in Destiny 1 won't carry over. Character personalization, such as class, race, gender, face, hair, and marking selections, will carry over for characters which completed the Black Garden story mission and are at least level 20. So that's...
Well, this is the thing, isn't it?
You know... I mean, they're effectively saying that your character is going to get carried over. We don't know in what way. We don't know at what level. You know, we don't know any of that stuff. So we know if they can carry our character over, there has to be remit to somehow...
Of all the things to carry over, though, most
does,
people I see when they're in the tower, helmet on the character. No face.
It does make me laugh reading through the Reddit.
How many?
I don't like my character. I don't want it to carry
Well, I was just about to say, how many OG Destiny players have been asking for, and even they wouldn't mind paying for it to change their appearance?
Yeah. Well, that's the reason why they got the helmet.
That's why I deleted my warlock and created.
Yeah, and they're actually saying that that's the only thing that's actually going to carry over. The one thing that most people want to change is the appearance. But oh no, it just, it just makes me think most of the time that they are actually out of touch with what the community really want. It just feels that way time and time again.
It's very surprising because I'm pretty sure Bungie used to be very good with their community.
They did.
Which is what it's almost.
But they're under new management, are they not?
Well, obviously, yeah, I think so. You had all this problems in anyway when it first came out.
But even because Luke Smith's no longer with Bungie, is he?
No, I don't think he is anymore.
No, he's not. So take from that whatever you think. Gim, the voice of reason, because we've been a bit polar.
That says it all reads.
If it bores me, just play someone else.
I'm gonna go back in for the Rangers just because I want to see what they've done with these challenge modes. I want to know what's gone on. And obviously, I want to go for the
enough people.
But trying to think what they said was being done because it was mainly
really making worthwhile some other way.
Yeah.
I think enough people will be pissed off with the fact that nothing carries over that they'll at least go shaders and emblems or something like that.
I mean,
just something.
To be fair, and I know there's toxic trolls here and there, but on a whole, the Destiny community is actually pretty damn good. You'll always see people talking about on Twitter and on Twitch how Destiny streamers and Destiny content creators, YouTubers and all this, for the most part, the Destiny community is quite positive. Now, I know, there's a lot of toxic shit out there on the forums and whatnot, but when you look at, like, the charity events that Destiny content creators have done, the amount of money's been raised, there's people from other directories that have never touched Destiny, but they'll talk about how, the Destiny community is just so amazing. So, I think there's going to be a lot of folk are going to be playing this. There's a lot of things that's going to reignite the passion for Destiny that a lot of us had, and it's going to do that for a lot of people, and I get that, and that's why I completely understand your point of view, Jay. I'm almost there myself. I am so hung up on the carrying forward of stuff because I just feel. I think it's because we know. No game lasts forever. You know that. You play a video game and you will try to get in-game achievements, blah, 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 blah. And any game, honestly, what's the point? Because it means nothing at the end of the day. But I think what I get hung up on with Destiny is, and I know I've said this before the other night, we were talking about this, where I feel like it was missold to me. It was advertised and hyped up about this 10-year plan, and I thought it was going to be this persistent story that there it was, I make this character, and so for the next 10 years, I'm going to have this character on Destiny. Oh yeah, there might be rejigs here and redos here, but I thought, wow, cool, this is going to be a game like World of Warcraft, where I'm going to have a character, and it's going to live on for a long time. And I think I just started losing faith the minute they kind of announced that, well, actually, Destiny 2 is going to be kind of like a restart. Which makes sense, I suppose, they still haven't confirmed if it's PC, have they? Or did they? I think they did confirm it was coming to PC.
I think what I want to know about Destiny 2 is if it's as you said, if it's going to almost be a soft reset, or if it's going to be talking about events from Destiny 1. Because if that is the case, and again, I'll still feel kind of more involved in it. As you say, obviously all these emblems and things coming through, not being there, it's kind of a pain. I don't know how it's all stored, but you've got all these kiosks now, haven't you? So I don't know how it's obviously stored code-wise and all your server-wise and all that sort of stuff. But if they've got kiosks there, where they've got ticks next to it, you've got this emblem, or you haven't.
I mean, it's different in other games. I mean, when you look at... Yes, that in Call of Duty Black Ops, if you prestige, and then Black Ops 2 came out, you had to start over. You accept that. That. That's fine. That type of game, But Destiny wasn't that. Destiny was supposed to be different. Destiny was supposed to be this living, breathing, persistent world, and it was supposed to be just the beginning of this really long journey. And now to be kind of told that, well, actually, that's not the way it's really going to be. I don't know. I think it's just it's tainted me a little bit, and it's pissed me off. And I think that's just maybe what's creating a barrier for me.
Well, that's why I said we need to see if there is any clarification that comes out about these emblems from this book, and if they'll carry over, if these veteran rewards for Destiny 1 players will be based around milestones almost. Because if they can keep track of when you played the game first, because obviously they've got to have kept track of that to have done those book achievements, then there is no way in hell they can't do that for something like Destiny 2 for a veteran reward.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I mean, did you look at, you, for example, you have done a shit ton of PvP in Destiny, right? Yeah. You have done all of those PvP Crucible quests and whatnot. Yeah. So now being told that actually you've got to go do the quests, you don't. But see the things like kill, 100 folk melee kills, you've got to redo that. Even so, you've got hundreds of melee kills. Yeah. But now you've got to go do all these things again. It's stuff like that gets me a bit... Wait a fucking minute. This is... Hold on, we're supposed to be getting rewarded. We're supposed to say, you have done all this shit. And look, here you go, blah, 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 blah. And that just kind of irks me a bit too. It's just that... Because let's be honest, okay, some of these things, folk that have just picked up the game, they won't be able to get. A lot of those kind of the time-locked ones. But a lot of the other stuff, they're going to be able, people that have just picked the game up will quite possibly be able to get to rank 7 in the book and get their t-shirt if they grind the living shit out of it. And I think that's what pisses me off. Because Deej said that. Because Deej said, don't freak out. If you haven't got this and you haven't got that, the way that the ships are going to rotate, the way the sparrows, that everyone can do this. So, on one hand, whilst they say it's the celebration for us, the folk that have played it for 3 years, it's still... I mean, look what they did last time with that last Moments of Triumph, where basically folk could actually get it done in that last week.
Yeah.
That was another kind of fuck you to the, the hardcore player. It just...
I think this is why you'll probably have a lot of the hardcore players walking around with that emblem from the I've been playing before Dark Below. You'll probably see a lot of people with that.
Yeah.
Or at least you'll probably expect a lot of veteran players to use that. Because, it'd be cool if there's a Crucible emblem to say, look, I'm a Crucible bloke, or I'm a Raid bloke, or whatever. But for me, I probably will end up wearing the one which is, hey, look, I've completed the whole entire time logs page because I've been there since day one. Mm-hmm. That's the emblem I'll be strolling around with, like, I've been here since day one. I've been playing since day one. Because I said, I remember I queued up. I queued up at midnight. I never played the beta. Because to be fair, I wasn't really aware of... I knew about it before then, but I never really played the beta or anything like that. And I remember queuing up at midnight for Destiny. And I took a week off work for it. Because that's how much I was looking forward to it. And ended up... much to the disgust of obviously Hooded at the time, Matt, one of our friends. I say our friends. He got annoyed because obviously I was going ahead in the story because he had work the next day and I didn't. I was like, I want to play this.
No, I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe just part of me, deep down inside, is just sad that a game that brought so much joy to me and I really, really loved that is just coming to an end. Maybe that's what it is. Because the Age of Triumph, the wording, like they keep using, like, again, direct quote, Age of Triumph is a way to honor all of the classes and the achievements they have earned over the course of 3 years. So it's just kind of like, again, a farewell, and I think that's what just keeps bleeding through for me, is this concept of, going out with a bang.
I think the other thing as well to look at is I'm assuming this Age of Triumph is active until pretty much before Destiny 2 release.
I would think. I mean, what were the cases? Because all the other Moments of Triumph, Gim, they had cut-off dates, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
So it'll likely be the same with this, where you have to order the T-shirt by a certain point.
To the expansion coming out though. So I remember.
Yes, I'm sure there were.
Moments of Triumph was pretty sure it's pretty close to that release of Rise of Iron. I think it was either the Tuesday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it ended on the release day of Rise of Iron. And that's the thing, as you said again though, with that much time, you're looking at March. Well, we'll say April, because obviously it comes out 28th of March, which is right at the end. So April to May, May to June, June to July, July to August, August to September. You're looking at a good 4 to 5 months of chance to complete.
If it launches on time.
Yeah.
Because when was it technically actually supposed to already have come out?
Last year, wasn't it?
Well, it was supposed to be... Because what was it? Destiny came out. There was going to be 2 expansions. Then there was going to be the 1.5, which was the Comet, which ended up becoming Taken King. Then there was going to be 2 expansions. And then Destiny 2, or Destiny, the next kind of major thing. So I think I'm sure Destiny 2 was supposed to come out September past. I think. Originally, in their original roadmap. Because I'm sure Destiny was a 2-year thing where they had 2 expansions over the course of the year. Then at the beginning of the year 2 point was a really, really big expansion. Then another 2 small ones. And then once year 2 finished, there was going to be the next iteration of the game, a full retail release. But again, carrying over your shit. I don't know.
But obviously going back to carrying over, if they can keep track of these time gates, if they can keep track of what you've done in achievements, and that obviously all that Age of Triumph stuff is going to be kept track of in there, in that database, whatever they're using for it, for Destiny 1. So again, in Destiny 2, if they have got these veteran rewards for veteran players, I don't see how they can't pull that data out.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna say, oh look, they've done this, they deserve this veteran reward, or oh look, they've done this, they deserve this veteran reward. Because again, if I got a veteran reward, let's say it's completely different. Let's say, which you don't know if emblems are going to be a thing in Destiny 2. We don't know what they're planning on doing with it, do we?
No.
But if something comes up that's like, for example, we'll say it's emblems for the argument's sake. Let's say it goes, okay, right, you're a veteran player, and according to our Destiny 1 database, whatever, you've done this part of the book, so we're going to give you a veteran reward to do that part of the book. Which one, again, I could very proudly be like, I've got this because I had been a year 1 player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think that's what a lot of stuff comes, as you say, back towards. Because quite a lot of this conversation has been about this anyway tonight. It's been just back towards this carrying over, and what their plan is for it all, what Destiny 2 is, how it's going to be done.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we know nothing about Destiny 2. We know nothing about the timeline. We know nothing about, is it immediately following all these events? Is it set later on? You know, we don't have any type of intro or a sneak peek or inkling towards anything.
I'm kind of hoping they'll almost do a release event, almost sort of thing, or at least something to show what's going to happen before. I mean, they'll surely give us a roadmap sooner, because to be fair to them, they're usually pretty good at as with these reveals, showing us what's coming up.
Yeah, I think
they kind of do it.
They'll do it at a con. It'll be something like
Yeah.
an E3. You know, they'll probably do it like there. E3.
No way for an E3.
Yeah. That'll be when they'll do the full-blown
when
Destiny
is
2.
E3 again?
June.
Yeah, June-ish.
See, that wouldn't be too bad, because that's a good couple of months before the release. So that would be, for a lot of players, if, for example, they do suddenly say, these Age of Triumphs are carrying over, or these are going to affect your veteran rewards, people can still go, oh, shit, I've still got time, fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think you are right. I think E3 would be the place they'd want to do it. They'd want to do it on the big scene. They'd want to basically just blow people away, and that would be the best place to do it.
So, anything to add, Gim?
Not really. It's
Where do you sit? Because, I mean, obviously, Jay, I'm assuming as soon as the pre-order goes live for Destiny 2, you'll probably be fucking buying it.
As much as I can get upset about this sort of stuff, and as much as you could always look at me, at people like me being the problem, because we're moaning about it, but we're still going to buy it. I probably will.
Whereas, Gim, where are you sitting?
Well, I've decided to pre-order no more games except the one exception is going to be Mass Effect, so it's just going to be a game I'll play. But yeah, I won't pre-order any more games anyway, so I won't pre-order Destiny. I shall wait and see. I shall wait and see about this coming event. I'll see if it's worth my time when it comes out. I shall look at many reviews when Destiny 2 gets reviewed. If embargo is at release or after release, I'll be annoyed because that means something's clearly wrong. Hopefully they'll do a demo like they did with the first Destiny.
Yes, that's what we need. Some alpha or beta or something. Or a demo.
I would be looking to sign up for betas.
Yeah, I think I've got to be somewhere in between myself as well, where part of me knows that, yeah, I'm probably going to play Destiny 2. I can see that happening. It's going to happen. But, yeah, I'm on the fence whether it's going to be, you know, a pre-order job, or if I will be kind of, actually, let me just wait. I think it depends on the info we get. And it's the same with Age of Triumph. If they flat out say that, look, you know, nah, you know what, the Age of Triumph shit isn't going to carry over. Yes, if you're a veteran Guardian, then you'll get a shader or something. Then, you know, okay, that's fine, that's cool. You know, that'll be enough for me. I'll know I won't need to touch Destiny. But if they can confirm and say, well, actually, no, these emblems like are going to carry over, this is going to carry over, then yeah, I will be participating in Age of Triumph. But at the moment, until there's any more info, I'm not in any rush to revisit content that I've done so much in the past. Even if they has been polished, changed, and whatnot, it's not enough for me. Unless...
me, then.
I'm sorry.
Problem. Coming back to the thing you were saying about beta as well for Destiny 2, if they were to ever do anything like that, I think it would be because although they'd want to be catering to new players as well, and they'd be wanting to try and get people involved in it, it would be nice if they did an almost closed beta for, again, those veteran players haven't played since day one, because again they can keep track of all this sort of stuff. In all fairness, they are the people that are going to give the reviews that will be the best for them ideally. And then if they were going to do betas, have a closed beta, I think for veteran players or players who've been playing for a long time, and then the open beta so that new people can come and have a look.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We will see. Right, let's talk very briefly about the game that launched this week, and that was, of course, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
That's for you two.
You know, this was one that I wasn't. You know, me and Jay, we were discussing this, and we had our buttons over the pre-order, our fingers over the pre-order button, and of course Gim, you know, being the voice of reason, is like, you know, no, wait, just see how it turns out, because it's an Ubisoft game, the launch might be a bit iffy, you know, just wait it out, get it at a discount, and, you know, yeah, should have probably done that, but you know what? There was some pre-order bonuses that I just couldn't say no to, and I had the money, so fuck it, YOLO, went ahead and I bought it. And honestly, I don't regret it. I haven't been able to dedicate much time to it this week. You know, I've played bits and bobs, but I dare say it's got enough content to keep us going for a while. I've seen, you know, now folk that are just like not 100% in each zone, but like just storming through the story missions and stuff. There's this one reviewer that basically he completed the campaign and hit the level cap, and that was after 42 hours. So if it's 42 hours of just kind of going for it, playing through the story, if you're on the verge of OCD collector, like some of us are, I think, you know, you're going to get your money's worth out of this game. The other thing that made me pre-order it was when they released what their expansion plans were with the season pass. All that stuff looked really, really interesting. I mean, as a whole, the game has got positive reviews. I think we're probably still only talking, I think on most, somewhere in what the mid 80s, like percentage wise. I think Metacritic something like that, 80 something, and a lot of other places is, you know, I think on average 8 out of 10 is in this. It's not perfect. You know, it's one of the things that pisses me off is the damn task force. We create a task force and it should have like the task force tag, you know, the initials of it showing up next to our name, but instead it has numbers. And I was on the forums again today, just kind of bumping up the post saying, look, is anyone going to acknowledge this? Because they've got a whole list of known issues, and there's a lot, but that one still isn't there. But besides that stuff, I mean, yeah, the game it's interesting, it's different, it's, you know, an over-the-shoulder shooter, but then when you aim, you go into first person. No doubt it can be fun with other people, but I'm really enjoying playing through it solo, you know, with my AI teammates. It's just quite interesting. The AI teammates, they're not perfect, that's for sure, but it just adds an interesting dynamic, and the way you can play guns blazing, or like me, I like to try to spot things from afar, take things out with silencers, and it's just so far, yeah, it's a good experience. It's a fun game, and I think compared to a lot of past Ubisoft launches, I think the Wildlands one, aside from some of those little issues I talked about, I think it's been fairly smooth. You know, there hasn't been any major outages or anything like that, and you know, week one, like I said, I haven't had much time to play it much, but it's been pretty good. What about yourself, Jay?
I've thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest. Just had quite a for IGN review, and there is stuff I do agree with, but at the same time, I've been quite enjoying it. Yeah, it does almost feel quite repetitive, especially considering a lot of my tactics is take the drone in, sync mark people, sync shot, rinse and repeat, and in a way, it does kind of make it boring. But at the same time, for me, and this is where I find the game enjoyable, is I'm quite interested in almost the lore behind it all, behind every single person, why you're doing what you're doing, why they have the influence, why they're a part of it. I don't know if we're allowed to do spoiler, if you want any spoilers in this, but
well, what I was thinking, is that, you know, without giving away storyline, you know, anyone out there that has played the closed beta or played the open beta, right, yeah, you know, you've seen a couple of cinematics and whatnot, but guess what? There were cinematics that are in the final game that were not in the beta. There's a whole different, shall we say, point of view, that there's a storyline going kind of in parallel, you know. I think we'll just leave it at that. And I'm like you, Jay, where I think some of it is quite repetitive, where it's like, okay, go here, get that, or kill this guy. But that being said, it's not really.
There's only so much you can do. Again, with
you know, like, I'll use this as an example. Like, I'm in a zone right now where, like, it's about submarines, and like, I've got to destroy like something here, something there. But then there's another mission where I have to actually hijack a submarine. I have to steal it.
Nice.
Right? There's nothing repetitive about that. But on the other hand, like you say, going killing someone or going capturing a guy. But then when you look at that mission we were doing the other day where you've got to blow up cocaine. You know, destroy cocaine. So I know what you mean though. Like, sometimes it feels a bit samey of, oh, I'm in this zone, so now I need to go around. I need to unlock all where the weapon accessories are. I need to unlock where all the skill points are, and I need to do this and do that. So there is a bit of repetition, but I think where it saves it from being too repetitive is the fact that each area is it does look different. There's different weather.
I'm in one area at the moment where it's snowy, and it's so good. But as I said, obviously I wasn't going to spoil much, but the ending of you'll know something about the cocaine one, how that ended.
Oh God!
Was I completely annihilated, just threw me. I was not expecting it, and this is what I mean. It's a story. I've actually, I won't lie, I've gone through every single of the underbosses and the big head honchos, and else the bad guy obviously elsewhere, and watched all of the available Kingslayer files I had to begin with, of all the almost their profiles and everything, because I ended up staying up last night an extra hour doing that because I was so interested in it. I want to know about these characters.
See, you should have watched that fucking little mini movie that set the game up that's on Amazon.
I need to at some point.
You need to do that. It'll take up 30 minutes of your life. But I'm sure it's called War Within the Cartel. And honestly, I watched that just to kind of hype me up for the game. But I'm so glad I watched it before I started the game, because it serves as an intro. Yeah. It serves as an intro to the game's intro, and it was fucking awesome. It was like really cool, because they did the same with The Division. They had a little mini movie that set The Division up, and that was on Amazon. And that was actually not a steaming pile of shit either. It was pretty cool.
But a lot of games I'm interested in. I'm interested in what's going on.
Yeah.
But there's, for example, like Destiny, again, just very quickly reading this, but like, I did read some of the Grimrock cards, but didn't read all of them. And with other games, I've got lore and stuff, but with this, every single bit of intel I get, every single bit of Kingslayer file I get, if it's a video or a audio recording, I have to hear and watch it. Like it's I've actually done this. I've had the audio recording going, and I've started a mission by accident, or something's happened and it's cut out the audio. I've gone, no, I'm not having this. So I've gone back in and reloaded that Kingslayer file.
Yeah, I think that's been a pleasant surprise.
Why I'm doing it, why I'm taking this cartel down, why each person is where they are, and for me, I don't know what it is. I've just become so involved in that. I'm really enjoying it because of that as well.
Yeah, no, I've been pleasantly surprised by that. Where I thought it was a game that, you know, the mechanics of it were going to draw me, or the co-op was going to be cool and whatnot. But yeah, it's actually, like you say, the narrative, the story of it, the cutscenes that are just. It's,
at some point, I would like to go for a co-op because, as IGN quite rightly said, it will probably be well, as we know from our beta experiences. It'll be a completely different experience.
Yeah, where not only do you have to dodge the enemies, but you have to watch out where your teammate is putting C4.
Yeah, putting C4 underneath your planes is a cool explosion when you go off. No, you're not. You're doing it so you can blow me up. Don't lie.
Or look, ooh, here's a car. Shit, everyone run!
That was legit, Jen. That was.
Or runs you over a tractor of all things.
A fucking tractor. Yeah.
Best vehicle in the game.
You think they go, right, we're gonna take this convoy, and Joe's like, I'm coming in my tractor. It's like, Gim, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's a tractor, it's fine. Get out of the tractor. Just get out.
It
was the only vehicle that didn't bounce around like a boat.
And again, as IGN quite rightly put, as I read a bit ago, it's made me chuckle with the fact, like saying, oh yeah, you know, you could choose to put your guy you're kidnapping in the boot of a car, and then suddenly another car hits and it's running down the hill, and you're chasing after it, telling your teammates to get a new escape vehicle. And it's there's, I just quite enjoy it. I try and be stealthy. I'm trying to play a tactical way, but there's some things that happen that really annoy me, like Unity had helicopters coming around, and I'm like, shit.
I think it's fair to say that it's a game that at the moment, it's only been out 2 days, right? I mean, came out the 7th, so it'll be at the stroke of midnight, it'll be 4 days or whatever, but that is already in pretty good shape and has a lot of content, is really quite good, and just the thought of where are they going to take it, you know, it's got so much more to offer, and it'd be really quite interesting to see how far it will go, and also how long they'll support it, because how long ago was the last Ghost Recon game?
Advanced Warfighter 2.
Advanced Warfighter 2, and that was a good, I would like to say, 7 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be around.
So I would imagine
maybe 2009.
You know, there's a good chance that this might, you know, it could stick around for quite some time.
Oh, yeah, Warfighter 2 was 2007, and I'm pretty sure
it's older than that.
That was the last Ghost Recon game they did. I could be wrong, but from what I was aware, it was.
Oh, fair enough.
But also, as well, you said about going around collecting the collectibles, because I like doing that sort of stuff, which is, I know the same as you as well. I end up almost in my head mapping out a route I want to follow.
Yep.
Something happened. Yeah, not sort of, this isn't really spoilers or anything, but it really annoyed me this morning because you've got these like missions where you have to like hijack planes or helicopters for your to get you resources. Anyway, so I hijacked this plane, and it was like, oh yeah, it's 10 kilometers away. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. It flew me into another fucking province. So I went into this new province.
And all this other shit pops up, question marks and stuff.
Yeah, not only that, but I've then got Bowman telling me about the backdrop of it, and me contacting us saying I'm there. I'm like, for fuck's sake, I don't want to start another province yet. So luckily, it's literally right next to the one I'm in, so I'll be moving on to that one next, even if it is a 4-skull level province. But I flew in and I was like, you're having... I almost just thought, fuck it, I'm going to crash the plane, don't care. But yeah, that really annoyed. I hate because obviously I'm going in with this with I want to finish each province properly. Having had that happen, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So annoyed.
Oh
I know it has no sort of effect on my gameplay or anything, but it just annoys me. Because I've actually, whilst I was trying to map out a route around this province I was in, I was like, okay, I've only got these like 5-6 things on 9-10 things left to do. And I was like, hang on, after this is another fucking province. Like, stop it, you're ruining it for me.
Yeah, but it's a good game. It's been, for an Ubisoft title, the freaking launch has actually been relatively smooth. Well, yes, there's some issues, but
I haven't actually come across many issues. There's a few things again, which obviously IGN highlights with these sync shop, where you basically mark your targets and then your teammates will take them out when you tell them to, or if you shoot another guy, they'll take them out. And how they can, like, I have seen it happen, they'll take them out through like walls. You think you should be able to do that, or angles. You're like, how the fuck did you do that? Let me know. But yeah, no. Apart from, I think what's quite funny is I haven't had any problems with it, and what makes me laugh is the problems I've seen with Ghost Recon, with Wildlands, have been their external stuff or their additions, such as you say, the task force.
The Ghost Recon network's a bit broke.
That's what makes me chuckle.
But on the other hand, how good's that fucking app?
Oh, that app is. I played it much. Or yes, to be fair, I didn't play it yesterday because I had the day off, so I can actually play Wildlands. It's fine. But no, that's fantastic. That is. I quite like it when games do stuff like that, because obviously it was. Trying to think what other games have recently done stuff like that, where it's had an almost an adverse effect on the game you're playing, or you can cause it to. I think Fallout almost did it, didn't they? With Fallout 4.
I see never.
Their vault or not really have much of a change on the or was saying that actually, looking at the fact that you've got the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy app, stuff like that. Because again, say you can get a proper map, can't you, on the Wildlands HD?
Yes, you can.
Again, I kind of say it almost doesn't necessarily be more realistic, but it almost adds something different.
Well, I mean, this is the stuff that, remember when the Xbox Smart Glass first came out? That was supposed to be the thing, that every game would have, you know, you could have your tablet or your mobile phone next to you, and you'd have like a map or some kind of interaction. And it's just something that never really happened. Most developers couldn't be arsed with that shit. And okay, yes, there's been decent apps. I mean, the Destiny app was good as far as when it came to like doing your vault space and transfer and shit. But as far as in-game things, you know, like having a racing game where your tablet would be the GPS, you know, your sat-nav type thing, you know, shit like that, that's just like common sense, no-brainer, but they never actually saw through. Anyway, but yes, Wildlands launched this week. Definitely worth a look.
Definitely.
But, you know, me and Jay, we paid full price because we pre-ordered it. We wanted some of the stuff.
We're smucks like that.
You know, we are. We're dickheads. To be fair, we forced each other to do it. You know, we did. We kept egging each other on. But, you know, look, with most games, if you just wait a little while, it'll be discounted. Especially if you go to shops. Like, you know, I'm not trying to promote a certain store or anything, but I know of one high street store that usually within a few weeks of release, games are already discounted. There's a few games that aren't, obviously. There are exceptions to the rule, but some of these games, especially Ubisoft titles, I mean, when I bought Steep not even 3 weeks after release from that high street retailer, and that was only $24.99. Right, so I don't think Wildlands will be that cheap, but I would forecast that it'll only be a month or so, and you'll be able to get a physical copy, not a download copy, but a physical copy for not too much money if you shop around. Even Amazon. You know, if you look on Amazon, you can get good deals. Yes. Because I'm assuming, Gim, when it comes, I know you've got other things on your shopping list, but, you know, it is a game that you're still you do want to own at one point, isn't it?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be quite happy if a couple more of us lot get it. Even if Joe does, because we went back through as a co-op thing with if he wanted us to.
Well, this is the thing, because you can. I didn't realize you have 3 save files on it. You can actually, you don't have to change your operator or anything, but you can actually create another one. So you've got 3 save files for the game. So it's like, yeah. If when you first start it up, you can. I think it's maybe the second one down or something that says change save or something. So, like, for example, say you and I have finished the game. We've just done everything there is to do in it. But then Gim picks it up. Yes, we could actually start anew without, deleting our other one and play through it with him and experience it all over again type of thing. And then once he's up to level or whatever, then you could go back on your original type, your original save.
That's a very quick one as well. Are you planning on doing every province? I think obviously you only have to technically kill 2 of the big.
Did you even have to ask? Did you even have to ask?
Spot check.
Yes, I will be doing every province. I was almost going to be anal and actually do like all of the security, then move on, do all of the. But no, I'm not doing that.
Really like that.
Instead, I'm kind of moving my way out, and I'm trying to actually do the lower skulled areas first.
Oh, really? I'm just going more I can see near me.
Because
at the moment, it looks like I'm going to be quite heavily hitting on influence based around the 2 places I'm going to be looking at.
Oh, well, Wildlands talk. Well, that's been an hour and a half, so that's a bit longer than we usually do Jungle Drums for, but there was a lot of shit to talk about. A lot of shit that we're excited about, or emotional about, or invested in. Because, come on, I gotta say one more thing about Destiny. Is when we get into carrying over and this, how much fucking money have we spent on that game? You know what I mean? When you've got
microtransactions aspects.
Well, exactly. Like, you didn't touch those things, but just think of how much money you spent. On the game. Well, then having to rebuy it on the Xbox One type of thing, and the expansions. Then you've got jackasses like me who bought collector's editions. At least they can't take that away from me, because I got the physical one. Nah. They'll never be able to take that. But it is, when you add it up, and then when you add, folk like us that do the microtransactions a little bit, it adds up. That's quite a lot of money. But if you factor in, per hour, it's still cheaper than going to the cinema or something.
Very quickly touching on that is a lot of people obviously, I know some people aren't necessarily complaining about the fact they've done these microtransactions, they've paid money for them, and then this stuff is going to carry over. For me, as this may sound, that doesn't annoy me as much, because I'll use League for example here. I spent so much money on League of Legends, and I don't play anymore. Barely touch it, to be fair. I'll go back to it at some point, but I always knew that it was going to come to a point where that time came where I would be playing League anymore.
But at the time, it gave you pleasure. You enjoyed it. It satisfied you. So it was worth the money.
You feel like your money's worth.
Exactly.
Plus,
plus, hey, it's if you're spending your money on microtransactions, that's one less crack rock you're going to buy.
Exactly.
Right? It's just, it makes sense.
I do like investing into the companies that, or at least give them money, that I do enjoy their games for. Like, obviously, for example, Gigantic, I brought the Founders Pack for that, because I just fell in love with that, and I wanted to support them. It's the same with anything like that.
I put so much money into Smite on a piece.
Oh, exactly. It's insane how they were never a thing. And I'm pretty sure microtransactions came about because of phone games.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure where that's all, and it's
Yeah, the free to play,
it's
and then it just
actually
pushed into everything else.
well, every game I buy now, I expect there to be microtransactions because that is the state of gaming that we have hit.
You're right. It's just the way things are now, I suppose.
It's the norm. It's the norm to have microtransactions in a lot of games. And especially the big companies that do it and know they can, without being funny, get away with it, or people that buy it. Let's, for example, having talked about Ubisoft, they've got him in Wildlands, it's in Division, it's in Siege, it's in most of their games.
Assassin's Creed even has it.
It's
Single
just
player.
what happened. I mean, you look, WoW, for example, a subscription-based game, they now have all in, don't they? You can buy a mount, you can buy game time. They've suddenly moved, because as bad as it may sound, yes, gaming is for our pleasure, our benefit, but at the end of the day, it is a business stream. It's a business. It's never not going to be a business. People, as bad as it sounds, yeah, they make games for people's enjoyment, but they also make those games to make money.
Yeah, it's
multi-billion-dollar industry.
There's very few huge companies in the gaming world that make games for the sheer passion. I mean, if we're brutally honest,
it's true.
It's the small devs. It's the little guys that have this passion. The ones that aren't trying to make, a shit ton of money, but instead they just want to express themselves and whatnot. Yeah.
It's almost as well, I suppose, sometimes could be people like indie developers to get their name out there to say, look, I can do this sort of stuff. But yeah, no, it's crazy how if I'm correct, it is probably it is the biggest sort of, I'm trying to get the word for it now, it's like multimedia or whatever, like revenue stream or whatever from
no, absolutely. It's overtaken Hollywood.
Yeah,
when it comes to
huge.
It's kind of,
and especially
worth.
Obviously, now that you look at how much more it has become, I'd say less niche, like more like leaning towards things like nerdy to play games. I mean, you look at things like League of Legends streaming and tournaments with all these sort of games. That's just exploded massively in the past years.
It's true. Well, hey, we will continue this conversation, but I am going to cut Jungle Drums off because that's been an hour and a half, so it has.
You poor fools who are planning on watching.
Thank you both so much for being on Jungle Drums this evening.
I was going to say, I almost feel honoured by the fact that you obviously delayed. At least I assume you partly delayed.
Well,
for me,
of course.
I'm honoured.
Well, the thing was, if I hadn't, right, and it was just me and Gim talking about Destiny, the Age of Triumph, it would have been very one-sided. That was the main thing. The key thing for me this evening, I wanted your opinion, because I know I'm not trying to say that you're a fanboy, but I mean, you're quite excited, you're quite hyped, you're on the other end of the spectrum from where I am at the minute, and it doesn't bother me. If anything, it's good because it'll make me think, a lot of what Jay's saying is right. So I really wanted that point of view this evening. Because otherwise it would have been, I think, a bit one-sided. It would have been me and Gim just groaning about it, if I'm honest.
Probably would have been.
You're quite anti. I'm more in the sort of meh state of mind.
Yeah. You've got that beautiful kind of London indifference.
Yeah.
Meh. That apathy.
It's the fumes in the air.
Right.
They affect the brain.
Right. Well,
We
care. We shall call that an evening for Jungle Drums. Again, folks, you know the deal. It's every Thursday, 9 p.m. If you're watching this on VOD, hey, thanks for watching it. You feel free to share, embed, do what you want with the video. Hit like. Hey, you can also subscribe if you want. Anyway, that's us out, and we will see you again next week for Jungle Drums, Thursday at 9.